Right, good evening. Hello. Let's enlarge the screen for those in the room. Let's get the bird song on to make it nice and restful. I'm just waiting for a few more students, so I might have to disappear. You'll hear the doorbell go probably. There we go. Where's our bird song? There we go. How peaceful can you get on a Monday evening? Hurtling towards the Easter holiday. Well, it is the Easter holidays for many, isn't it? For half the counties, I think. And we're already in April. I'm not enjoying it. Too fast.
Been a very wet March.
We've had the March winds and the April showers all in one go, haven't we? Really.
So hopefully April showers will.
It does feel very spring-like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's gorgeous, isn't it? It really is stunning. Well, I hope you are all well and you've had a good start to your week so far. Well, this will be the best start to your week anyway. Don't have a dull Monday when you got an art class.
What's happened to his feet? They're like,
I don't think he. Well, I don't even know where they are. I think he must only have tiny little claws.
They're not very dangling there, are they?
No, no. I think they're. This bit is hollow, and I think he's clutched onto this bit here.
Oh, I see. So you can't see.
So you can't see them.
Yeah, can you see those two black things that are hanging
Yeah.
down? I was like, he'd almost be like sitting.
Yeah. Like swinging his feet with his wellies on.
I almost drew them. I was like, no, they can't be his feet.
Rosemary reckons this is going to be very tricky. Nah, it'll be fine. We've got Janine in the room who's never done anything. So it's got to be easy, hasn't it?
Never done anything at all.
She just turned up, never done anything.
Never done anything at all.
Not even dressed herself.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, that sounds like the door.
Classic.
I can't help myself, you know.
I know.
Trying to be professional about it.
I know you do. So it's Janine.
Yes.
So where in Banbury are you, Janine?
I live in Allsted.
Oh my God! I live in Chennington.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I love Allsted. I love that pub.
Yeah, it's really come up nicely
Did
now.
you go the night when it was the landlady's birthday? And this was last year. It was her birthday, and just by chance we had friends coming over, and I said to them, "Oh, something's happening. Something's coming in the pub in Bolster." And saying these friends, it was very last minute. It was all, we're in the area, can we pop by? And then we said, "Oh, stay over." So anyway, we took them there, and honestly, it was a wonderful night because Port Talbot Pete, you know, he was singing.
Yeah.
And honestly, the food was great, and it's like an orange moon.
Oh, yeah.
Outside in the garden.
So yeah,
It's just
she has some really lovely
It's-
events.
Yeah.
Fun. But they're generally always while we're away somewhere. Or...
Right. So do you know, or what's the Welsh couple? Aidan and
Oh yeah, Gail.
Gail. Yeah.
Yes. My other half plays golf with me.
Ah, right. My husband plays golf. Felden Valley.
Yeah.
Wales.
He's been there today. Yeah.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
They've moved my gig in Brails.
Oh no, it's
They've-
the 29th. Do you know what? I've
No.
got in my diary the 29th.
They've moved me to
I was telling a friend about you and saying.
the 20th of May now at the George.
Okay.
Is that a nice pub there?
I don't know, I've never been, but
It is nice.
they've asked me to sing there, so I've said yes.
It is a nice
Yeah.
pub. It's got a nice garden. You take the kids.
It looks nice from what I've googled. So it's the 20th of May now at 7
Right, I'll have
o'clock.
Right. Okay. Is that Friday still?
Saturday. I think there must be some football or something on that they've moved it.
That's a lovely. I do like Bolster Village.
Yeah, we're happy there.
Mhm.
So I set up a business a couple of years ago, and we never get out anymore. So I just all my spare time I
Are you
end up
busy?
sat doing
What is it
all
you
the
do?
rubbish things like accounts and
Yeah, yeah. What do you do?
oh I've got a shop just on Chilwell Business Village selling fabrics.
Oh right, okay.
Oh.
Hi there.
Doing feet, aren't we?
Hello. Hi
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
No, they were very apologetic, but they moved it to the 20th of May.
I'm pleased you said that because you are in my calendar.
I know.
But, okay. But all quite near. So do you mean unedited which is the next village?
Oh. Small world, isn't it?
Yeah, not far apart.
Small world.
Barry, while I think
Yes.
I didn't want to interrupt. You said you weren't doing all the bank holidays. Which one?
The only one that I am doing is the Coronation Bank Holiday. So
You
that's
are
the.
doing-
I am doing that one.
Okay, but the other two were.
No, I don't think that. I don't think there are any classes advertised actually for those two.
No, there aren't.
But there will be for the 8th. Yes, it's the Badger and Gouache on the 8th.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still doing that. As long as I've got people that'll come, I'll do it.
Okay.
If I haven't, then I won't.
I wasn't sure which.
Yeah, because that one wasn't originally a bank holiday.
Right.
Because when Charles was doing the thing, he wanted it on a Saturday, so it would be available for more people who wanted it to save people taking time off work.
Yeah.
And then the government stuck an extra bank holiday on anyway.
Right. Okay.
And I thought, I can't afford 3 bank holidays in a month. I know. No, I'm doing the Wardington art group on the Monday morning on the 8th. So I'll have 2 Mondays off, but then I'll because I'm having to have a few days off because I've got a wedding in June, and then I've got Mum's death anniversary thing in Barmouth for those 2 days in July. So I can't really afford lots of extra time. And then I think I've got a Saturday off in October where I'm singing in during it's Canal weekend, but it's dead up this end now. They've made it a Saturday and a Sunday day, so I'm in Wallingford for that weekend.
Oh, was that the one that you were in?
Yeah, I did the Sunday last year.
The 40s one.
Yeah. It's Wallingford remembers the 40s at the railway station. I think it's the 30th of September and 1st of October. So it's Canal weekend here. But now it's a 2-day event. This end of town's just absolutely dead on the Saturday, so I thought I might as well do my other job while I'm one of my other jobs. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It
would.
depends how thick you want the border. So when you peel it off, you do get
A
a
little
nice
border.
line.
I don't because I use staples because I'm.
If you can.
stingy.
If you can.
I was gifted these books, Janet, about Banbury's history,
Alright.
and have you seen? Because this is where you are. You're up that end, aren't you? You're Easington way.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just trying to.
And I wondered if you'd ever seen that.
Oh, Barry Davis. Went to school with Barry Davis.
I did. You might be in it.
He was in a different stream to me though. He's in the A stream, I was in the B. Sorry, I'm flicking through it.
That's
is that
alright. Yeah, that's what I gave it you. You'll be fine, Rosemary. It's only a bit of paint. What's the worst that could happen? It looks nothing like a kingfisher. That's the worst.
Barry lives up in Easington.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, lives along Springfield Avenue.
Oh.
Is your shop doing alright, Barry? Art supplies, is that picking up?
It varies. But everything's just going up exponentially. It's ridiculous. All the stock's gone up. Yeah. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I think nobody's got any money at the minute, so we're just gonna crack on. The online shop's very quiet now,
Right.
but in a way, sometimes it's actually good that there's quiet bits because it means that I get a few minutes a day where I can actually sit down and think. Right, if I nick your sheets back.
Oh, Patrick.
Yeah, because you can use those over and over, can't you?
Yeah, they're real. That's perfect already, Mum.
Yeah, but let's just stop now before it gets any worse.
Well, this is going to be good. I've got a good feeling about it.
I saw you doing online that version of Mr. and Mrs. Jones. I thought it was fabulous.
Oh, have you met Miss Jones?
Have you met Miss Jones?
Yeah.
That's it. I thought that was brilliant.
Thank you.
Have you heard of seen it?
No,
Oh,
no.
really?
Well, I've seen you on Parsons.
Oh, in the street.
Ah, right. It's very good. You've got such a good voice.
I'm out there on the coronation day.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, we're having an old town party. There's we've got a balloon model, a juggler,
All in the street.
and Church Lane, and down the bottom. I've got Betsy Harmony, who's she's a brilliant singer. She sang at the Jubilee with me, and Carrie Ann Lawson, she's lovely. I've duetted with her, but she's been on the X Factor, she's been on BBC, she's quite big.
Is that in the morning, Barry?
From 10:30ish till 2 on the Saturday.
So that would be a good time to come.
Yeah, and we've got Town Sparks, a local couple who were an acoustic duo. They're really good, and a balloon modeller, and me.
All down here.
Yeah, well, there'll be every half an hour or so, and I've got a live demo I'm doing as well Saturday outside. So apart from the demo, the singing before the demo.
You're not juggling as well, are you?
No, I'm not juggling, not this week. And then every half an hour, there's like 4 places in the town, like this end of Parsons Street, the marketplace end of Parsons Street, halfway down Church Lane, and possibly in the High Street. And every half an hour, we're all rotating to do different things. But it's good fun. We actually managed to get a grant from the council, from Cherwell.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, we've not had it yet, but they've agreed it. I'm still waiting for the money. But I wasn't greedy. I'm doing it for free because I thought people would moan if I paid myself. So I'm working for free, like I often do. You know what it's like though. If I say, "Oh, we got a grant for paying performers," oh, that's it, line in your own pocket. So no, I'm not. Oh, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
There's always someone who says something.
Absolutely. There is. But we'll be fine. It'll be good. Hopefully the weather will be okay. But it's May. It'll be fine by May, won't it?
There's no rain there, I don't think.
It's all
No,
gone.
it can't rain anymore, can it?
I don't know. They were saying that we were going to have a hose pipe ban in the summer because the water levels are still not where they should be. Well, it might be all right. So we've got quite a few colours. That's next door, that banging, by the way. I don't know what they do. Meccano or something. It's their chill out room, that is, for the nail bar staff. But they're always hammering. Never mind. Be good to have your place in Parsons Street, you know.
I know, I'd love to be in Parsons Street. I really tried to be in Parsons, really tried everything I could.
Maybe another time.
Well, my lease is up next year. So
Well.
see. But the problem is I'm growing and growing and growing. I need so much space.
Do you know, they're really lacking a fabric shop in Bramley, aren't they? I think. Is it
Well,
Bramley?
I think now Alan's gone, yeah.
They really are, 'cause I wanted some, just some dining chairs, some stock and fabric, and but anyway, I couldn't get them in Bangor.
No, No, and we're patchwork and quilting, so we're not
Mhm.
sort of that upholstery fabric.
Right,
So
yeah.
the amount of people that come in wanting upholstery
Yeah,
fabric.
yeah, yeah.
Because
You're thinking, because I was thinking, oh my, yeah, I couldn't believe I couldn't get any.
even Dunelm don't sell that. They used
No.
to see they've always sold.
Yeah, because I know like the sewing centres upped their fabric offering a bit, but not to replace
Well, they're mainly wool,
Alan.
aren't they? Well,
Yeah,
someone said they thought there was a new wool shops opening on Church Lane as well.
a wool shop.
Oh, yeah, you know, opposite the gallery. The gallery.
What, in my old shop?
Opposite there.
Yeah, opposite the gallery. Yeah, my shop was originally, well, it was the comic book shop until recently.
So it had like a Japanese. Did it have a Chinese person in it or something? I don't know.
Oh no, that was the it was the RSPCA shop on the corner of Church Lane, Church Walk.
Yes, that one.
Oh.
Someone said they thought was.
Mm.
No idea.
I've not heard that. They're doing a lot of work on it. It looks like they're turning the upstairs into a little flat.
Well, that was somebody who was in the gallery because I was in there.
Oh well, they'll know if they're there. Yeah, yeah.
They had heard that, so.
The trouble is, we hear so many things. I've heard that many things about the mill over the last 3 years, and when I ask people at the mill, they go, "I've not heard that one."
Yeah.
You know, it's like the library was going to move to M&S, and now it's not. And
They need to move that into the shopping centre, don't they?
yeah, I think it needs to be more where people are, especially if they're going to build all those flats opposite where the library is. Never mind. Rosemary's drawn but pretty nervous. Rosemary. You'll be fine. You drawn? You drawn?
Yeah.
And sleepy?
Sorry?
And sleepy?
Yeah, probably.
Are you all drawn? Bill's just sketching too. So a few colours, and we're gonna do quite a bit of colour mixing, in a way. I really like the background, and I like how it's that sort of dull blue going into the sort of murky greeny tones down here. That is going to be the most difficult thing, not the mixing, but it's just because it's such a big expanse. That's all. It's only the expanse that's the problem. I'm almost tempted to get it out of the way first. Don't you reckon? Just get it just done, and then we can play with the bird. So, I've sucked my big brush in the water. So we're going to really soak the paper because we want it to stay wet for while we
Around the bird, yeah.
around your bird and your post, but don't be frightened to put quite a lot on because it will dry. The initial outlay of the water will suck up really quickly. I've got Have You Met Miss Jones in my head now.
Have you?
I've not long had the backing track for that one.
We have friends who when they got married, they were Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
Ah.
And played at their wedding. And so.
Because there's me and Mrs. Jones
Yeah.
as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Wonder why why the Jones? I'm not sure what. I'm think I'm going to be singing all sorts of stuff for on the day of the coronation. All lively stuff. But the other singers we've got, they're amazing.
We've got a barn dance that evening.
Oh, have you? In the village?
Yeah. Local farmers giving their barn and we've got
That's exciting.
a barn dance.
I used to do barn dancing with a girl I was seeing in Shropshire. Some of them were really, really into it with the cowboy boots and the everything. The dozy doze.
Yeah. That's the one. Probably the only one fold them again.
And then you go kind of around
I'll be
the
most
person.
There is a bar, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, spend your time in the bar.
When I've had a few drinks, I'll be a bit more.
Right, that's really, really wet now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the blue.
Which blue?
Cerulean blue.
Into the blue.
Into cerulean. I thought we'd be all cerulean today because the bird is very cerulean-ish, isn't he? Cerulean blue and a tiny bit of the red, cadmium red, and it is only a tiny bit because it'll dull the blue down a little. You don't need masses of this. Yeah, just to dull the blue down a fraction because it'll go grey if you're not careful. But if it does go grey, do you know what? That's all right.
This is very weak, yeah?
Yeah, and it'll dry 30% lighter, don't forget. And because you've got water already on your paper, it'll do really well and go lighter, but it'll help. Are you looking forward to this one, Bill?
Yeah.
Strikes.
All different kinds of blue with me.
You're not taking any chances tonight. You're getting them all. What blues have you got? Just out of interest.
Antwerp blue,
Ooh,
cerulean blue,
yeah.
cobalt blue, and French ultramarine.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, I've probably got some Prussian blue in the set I've got in the
Oh,
bag.
Prussian blues are lovely. I love Prussian blue. It's a gorgeous wintry colour. So as I get a little bit lower down, to give us that feel of water, I'm actually going to add a little bit of burnt sienna, which is the brown, into it, and that will make it go, weirdly, even though we're adding brown, sort of a greeny grey. But I don't want to use all of my cerulean blue up because we'll need it for our little Kingfisher. Merge it all together. I'm keeping my brush strokes horizontally if I can, so it feels more like it could be water or something.
So you've just got with burnt sienna at the bottom.
With cerulean. So it just goes. It's a weird how the brown makes it go green. Wouldn't you wouldn't think of that, would you?
No. You're doing horizontal.
Yeah. It makes it. I think it's because burnt sienna is quite orangey, so there's quite a bit of yellow in it. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm just going to let that dry. I might force the drying with a hairdryer later, but I just want to make sure I've covered right up to the bird if I can. I'm definitely not going to do any more. It will dry a lot lighter than this, but it just gives a background, and that's all we need. fine, I think. How you doing, Janine?
Yeah, I'm alright, thanks. No idea. It's good. It's covered. It's
Are you going to be one of these, oh, I've never done it before, then produce a masterpiece, and then I'll get really annoyed because you're going to be really good
No.
and you'll be better than me.
There's no chance of that.
So I don't like it when anyone's better than me, Janine. Just trying to get rid of some of the excess puddles. Because because mine's really wet, if I use the hairdryer on it now, it'll just blow it all over the place. We had a good night for the painting prosecco with the elephant.
Yeah. Oh, have you got your? Have you got?
No, I haven't, and the reason why is because it was somebody's birthday on that night, so I gave it them as a present.
Oh. You
But-
got a photograph of it though? No.
Yes.
I really wanted to go to that.
We used everything.
Oh, you can't do it online, can you?
No, they're not. I haven't worked out how to do paint prosecco and live painting down in a cafe yet.
It might,
I was explaining to Janine all about the setup here.
Once you've had the prosecco, then you know.
Well, what we did was we used watercolour board. We go, that's that. So we did the elephant in pen,
Fabulous.
outlined in pen, and all the details in pen. Then we wet all of the background and used Payne's grey acrylic ink and dropped it in with the dropper and let it spread, and then we moved it around with the brushes. We let that dry. We then used watercolours, Payne's grey and yellow ochre for the elephant to get the elephant shaded in. And then while the elephant was drying, the sky had dried. So what we did with the tree, that's acrylic ink. We painted a tree in water, and while the water was still wet, we dropped the ink in the tree so it created the shape. And then we moved the board around, and then this is acrylic paint. It's about 3 colours in the fan brush. So it worked out. It was quite good actually. We were really nice because it was a really tricky subject. So I drew an outline and Jackie traced it on everybody's board for them while she was here. So they all had a pre-drawn outline because some were quite scared.
Yeah.
So it was a nice night. There's a lot of prosecco drunk.
I was going to say prosecco helps with fear, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, it does. But we're already full for some of the Christmas ones
It's good.
already. The painting prosecco nights are really, really popular. There's a hardcore group of 7 ladies that are coming to nearly all of them. It's really lovely.
It was great. Also, the one that we went to, they loved
The
it.
sing along, yeah.
And I bought it for
You
Judy
did.
for the Christmas.
Because we got 3 different sing-alongs. Well, because they're 3 different pictures and 3 different mediums now. So I thought some might want to come to different ones, or all of them.
Get some booked with you.
You've got to be quick.
I know.
You've got to be quick with them.
What about the other classes? Are they booking up quickly? Do you need to get onto those as well?
The daytime ones, no, not so much at the minute. So you got time to think about, because the regulars just book on a week and a week in advance anyway.
Have
I
you
think-
got space in your acrylic drawn to acrylic classes? Still?
Yeah, that starts next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, next Tuesday,
Next Tuesday.
11th, next Tuesday, because it's just in the lighter month from until mid September, I think, every Tuesday night.
I might book. I can come to. So I'll go until the 24th, but I'll need to have a look and I'll book a couple with you.
That's fine. You can just message me and let me know.
Might get booked up. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. The drawn to acrylic one's interesting because the few people that you did it over the holidays, not the holidays, lockdown.
No,
Pandemic was not a holiday, was it? But it felt like one to me because I was at home.
You had time at
I
home.
really enjoyed it.
I know.
I could do housework and everything.
Lots of people do actually. It just gave them a chance to get off that rat race, didn't they? You know, that
I
kind of,
loved it. From going from 70 hours a week
Yeah.
just to pottering around the house in between online classes, it was lovely.
Yeah.
Didn't last long though because I'm back up to nearly 80 now.
80 hours.
Nearly. Some weeks. What else am I going to do though? Just watch Netflix if I'm at home. I've got no one at home to talk to.
That's probably good, isn't it? Don't you want that when you close that door, having been with people?
Yeah,
It must be.
I don't really like people when I get home. I'm all peopled out.
Yeah, that's right. The last thing you want is somebody wanting a conversation.
Yeah, it's someone that you can sit in silence with. I think that's just as important, isn't it? Because I can always find something to say. That's not a problem. But I do need a break. But what I am finding is that with everything that's gone on with the accountant and everything, we've been under a lot of pressure. And last week was crazy because just going through the classes, I've got a Monday morning, Monday evening, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and Saturday. Plus the car was going in for his MOT middle of the week, and all the hassle of trying to ring HMRC about the wages because of the accountant dying. So it was really pressured. But what I find, I'm lucky with my anxiety because I'm not the kind of anxious person that can't sleep. When my brain gets full, it switches off. It just sends me to sleep.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it literally just goes, pulls the plug, and I'm gone. So I can literally sit on a chair. I haven't seen an evening past 9 o'clock for months now where I'm at home and I'm just gone.
Yeah.
I'll put something really good. Lovely programme on about Frank Sinatra. Fell asleep, missed after like 3 minutes. Gone.
Well, that's good, just getting you sleep.
At least I'm sleeping. Yes.
Because I think if you're not sleeping on top of, if you've got
Yeah.
anxiety,
No, that's so. I'm lucky, really. I'm blessed with my anxiety. I'm going to try hair drying this now. It shouldn't chase it because I don't want cauliflowers. You do have access to a hairdryer in front of you, and it will be long enough to reach Amanda. How you doing, Rosemary? Really soggy bit there. I've gone soggy around my staples. Happens apparently as you get older. That'll do. Looking good. I've just gone to squish my paper and shot a load of water out from underneath the sheet of paper. It must be very wet. Oh, that'll do. That'll do, donkey. Okay-ish. Rosemary, I'm going to take that as a win so far. Lovely colours, isn't it? This greeny blues and things. Mine looks purple on the screen, but that's the camera. It's lying. It's not purple.
I've not got those cut. Mine's just like that.
It's just blue and green. But the camera's making it look like it's much prettier than it is. We'll work on little Kingfisher next. I might zoom in on him so you can see, but I might do him a bit wet in wet. I don't know. Oh, actually, I need to zoom out just a fraction because otherwise you won't see my palette. Can't believe how wet it is under my paper. Got a little river going on under there.
I've got a much bigger eye, I don't know why.
Yeah, is that just there? Have you ever seen a kingfisher in real life? I've never seen one.
Because I paint that and it doesn't look quite right.
Because they're not very. They are probably about that big that we draw in it, aren't they? They're not much bigger. I wouldn't have
So
thought.
is that not the eye?
No, that as big as the bird and the post.
Yeah.
Oh really? Oh, they're quite. Oh, they're big then.
Yeah.
I imagine them tiny little
Once you get-
things.
Once you paint,
Because only the big birding spots get to the hide overlooking the tree trunk poking out to the water, and every cameraman's there with a lens this.
Just waiting for that moment. Because obviously, looking at it like this, you'd think he's just sitting there very pensively, but that could only be like a split second before he's off again.
they're looking for a fish, isn't
He could be. To me, he's just contemplating the week ahead.
it? Otherwise they're not fishing.
Yeah. Soon be coffee break. Because you do classes, don't you? Do you do classes? Yeah, patchworking and sewing machining and stuff.
Yeah. Dressmaking, all those
Wow.
things. No, I personally just teach the very basic ones. I don't have people come in and do all that.
We used to have lots of visiting art tutors, but we couldn't afford them in the end.
It's amazing how much admin there is around all the classes. That's what I find. So never on top of it. I'm always a million miles behind where I should be.
Well, we're all done until the end of December, so that's
amazing.
nearly 400 lessons I've planned. Takes a while, but I've been in it for so many years now. I've got a template, and what I do is every time I see a nice photograph, I store it in a folder, and I finally, after 25 years, only just started using a folder for each half of the year, so I bung it in.
Yeah,
The
because
folder.
then you can use that again, can't you?
Yeah, and then I'll go in and then I mark all the folders up by weeks. So there's usually about 20 to 24 weeks in half of the year. So then I do that, and then I go through and then put each photograph in a separate folder, and then I'll write the brochure.
We took some amazing photographs in Scotland because the weather was
Oh
amazing.
yeah,
February.
did you enjoy
Yeah,
Edinburgh?
it was wonderful, wonderful.
My favourite
And then
city.
we went to Glenclose. So, but the weather for February was stunning. So I've got some beautiful photos of
How did you feel at Glenclose?
Do you know, I know about the massacre and everything. It was a little, we were right in the middle of so the actual monument was like, you could walk to it within less than 5 minutes away. Interestingly, so we had, because I was with Julie, she had a dog, and at night, the dog would just stand there barking outside.
Oh really?
And then one of the other people that we were with said that they saw something like a bonfire on the other side. When we went to look, there was no fire there. But I don't know. Bit eerie. It is a bit
Yeah,
eerie.
I've heard a few people say that there's like a sense of foreboding and it's quite eerie
It
there.
was beautiful. Really beautiful.
Nice. I've not been.
But if you need some photographs of mountains
Thank you.
and stuff,
You know I love a good mountain
I'll send you some.
and a waterfall. You can't beat it. So I'm going to do his orange bits first, which I'm going to go with a small brush, cadmium yellow.
Smallest brush.
Yeah, smallest, I think. Bit of control. Cadmium yellow and a tiny bit of cadmium red. Pinhead of red, because it will go really vibrant if you're not careful. Cadmium red turns everything red. It's a hungry colour. So I just want it slightly off orange. So it's more yellow than anything else. And I'm going to... Where what? Oh, that's it there. A bit there. There's a bit there. Yeah, we're going to do extra darker bits in places as well, but flicking out a little bit to make it feel a bit fluffy. A little fluffy kingfisher. Are you online with us, Dan? Or are you not back yet? Because Dan was supposed to come, but he couldn't make it back in time, but he said he was going to try and go online. So if you're there, Daniel, hello. There's sort of a very pale bit where there's the cream bit on the back of his head, but there's a little bit of washier stuff. So if you want it lighter, add more water to it. I'm going to let that dry. Then I'll make it a little bit more red in places. Are you having fun, Janine?
Yeah.
Good answer.
She had to think about it though, do you notice? It's a bit different to a sewing machine, isn't it? I can't use sewing machines, they scare me. I've got two. Won't surprise you to know, Amanda, that I've got two of the old sewing machines.
Yeah.
Can't use them either. I end up doing everything by hand. I like to turn my shirt collar, but most shirts now aren't made of decent quality, so you can't turn the collars. The underside are just really, really badly made.
You've done that quite pale, haven't you?
Yeah, it's sort of like a cream, so I've just diluted the orange. And I think it'll be the right colour, I don't know. So if I add a little bit of red extra to the orange colour, just so it darkens it slightly, not goes red, and it's very easy for it. So you want the water, you want your paint to be the consistency of ink or melted ice cream. And I'm doing little short strokes in the slightly darker tones. It's a bit darker under here, isn't it? Might go one bit darker. We did a Sunday class many years ago when we used to meet at the garden centre, and we did a Kingfisher then in watercolour, but we did it so he was diving into the water. That was hard. I don't know why I thought I'd do that as a 2-hour class on a Sunday morning. Just a little bit darker. I might go darker still in places. But this isn't a bad one for you to do for your first one, Janine. You notice I say first one because I reckon you'll be back.
Are
You'll be blown away. So there isn't a class next week because that's Easter Monday, isn't it? And we'll be back for 2 weeks, then we're off. Then we're back for 3 weeks, then we're off. And then we're back for 4.
Living your life in chunks, isn't it?
That's crazy. But you know what I'll do on Bank Holiday Monday? I'll just sit down. I won't do anything. I don't even bother going for walks, which is sad because I like going for walks. But I went to the antique centre yesterday,
Oh right.
round the corner from me,
Where's that then?
Wardington.
Yeah, because obviously my friend I went to see on Sunday, she lives in Washington.
I bet she lives at the posh bit.
She lives on the green.
Oh,
The
yeah.
green, but there's a little cottage in the middle. I can't remember the name of the cottage. I'll find out the name of the cottage.
So she's Upper Wardington.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I know when I go to vote, they like to remind me that I'm lower.
Yeah.
They do. Oh yes, you're Lower Wardington. Yes, I am, and proud of it. Upper Wardington's huge.
Is it?
Yeah, it's way bigger than. I mean, my bit's only like 6 cottages, and then you've got the main bit of the village where the church is, and
Right. So that's
Stuff.
you're near the church.
I'm about a 5-minute walk. I'm further away from. I'm near the only pub that we've got left
okay.
now, the Hare and Hounds.
Yeah. Is it a nice pub?
I've never been in. Because I live right opposite. I don't, and I live on my own. I don't see the point in crossing over to sit in a room overlooking my own house, drinking a drink that I've probably got cheaper in my own house.
That's why I struggle with our pub in our village because it's like, well, might as well just stay at home.
I know. If I was going to meet people, yes, that's different. But I think I've been in a couple of times, but it's changed hands about 5 times in the 10 years I've been there. But it's got it had a nice garden. They've chopped all the hedges down at the minute, so they're doing quite a bit of work on the pub garden. It's a nice village. The only downside, not a single shop.
No, we're the same. We've no shop.
Not a single shop. So I think Middleton Cheney is probably the closest for me, or actually M&S, because that's only down the road.
Oh, you've got Tyso.
Tyso, yeah.
That's where Mel Charles lives in Tyso, isn't it?
Yeah.
The cow artist, Melanie Charles. She paints cows.
Oh right. Okay.
Not actual living cows, she paints pictures of cows. She's got her there with a paintbrush. Just, there's a cow, I'll paint him.
Pink.
Got some of them placements with the camera.
She's lovely, Mel. She really is lovely. I'm sure she's Tyso way. Right, I'm actually going to add some burnt sienna to a bit of the orange, so it goes a little bit deeper. And I'm just going to stick it, as your technical term for the night. I'm going to stick it there. There's a few little places.
Burnt sienna to the orange.
Yeah, just so it goes a little bit darker. So yeah, in my spare time, I've now got a 10-module bookkeeping course that I got to learn on Sage. How on earth am I going to do that? But the people, the online school that I've done my art therapy course and other stuff with, they have special offers all the time. So I trawled through my emails and found a special offer from 6 months ago, and I put the code in. And I managed to get it for 29 quid, the course, instead of 130.
That's good.
I mean, I don't think it's accredited. I'm not going to become a bookkeeper. But if it helps me understand it enough so I can do my own accounts. But I've said to Jackie, I'm going to have you doing it as well. So we've got to get that done before we buy the bookkeeping software. Because I'm not going to buy the bookkeeping software if I can't do it. Because I'm rubbish with numbers. I just can't do it. I can't get my head around it. With my accountant, I used to literally say in January, how much have I got to pay and when? That's all I need to know. I don't care about the other stuff. My brain's too full than thinking about that. And I still managed to get it wrong this year. I didn't pay him enough. But never mind. Right, I'm going to leave that dry for a second. I'm faffing. I'll have to introduce you, Janine, to the Just Adder. He's a snake that likes overworked pieces of art. Up the top, Latin, Crapius artius. And so when you hear your say, if you see yourself say, I'll just adder, that's when you stop. Because you're calling him. And we don't want the Just Adder.
Sometimes it makes you do 2 paintings because you're not satisfied with the first.
Yeah, I'll just add yet another painting. Let that dry for a minute.
Oh, this one. I think we're sure we haven't finished.
What, but you missed a little bit of orange on his bill.
On this bill, yeah.
It's only tiny though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's nice that say 3 times and the creature appears. Yeah, that's it. That's how it happens, Rosemary. So it's good that all of the empty shops that are in Parsons Street are now taken.
Oh, are they? That's
So they will be open soon. So Bishop's Bakes is going to be Tess,
Yeah, that
which
was good.
I think Lisa's got such a following anyway from being in the market. That'll be good. And I think, what was the Rustic Beans going to be? An Italian cafe?
Oh, all nice.
So I've heard. We've got a board game cafe opening up in town.
Oh, that'll be pretty good.
I mean, they've got one in Oxford and Leamington, I think. Same company. So that's good. We've got someone in the cellar. They're going to open in May.
What are they?
Oh, what's the name?
Lou.
Lou, yeah.
It's Lou who does. She does dressmaking and she'll do sewing alterations and
Oh, will she?
yeah. And she's going to have her actual own shop selling her own designs that she's made of things.
It's amazing. It's
When
really,
Yeah.
is it opening?
As soon as she can. I mean, she's frantically spent all weekend painting and everything. But I think May, sort of coronation weekend, and I think that's when Tess is planning on opening as well. Yeah, it's sort of like that weekend. So yeah, she can do alterations, and she's done some stuff for me. She made I've got my big long tweed vintage coat that I've got. Well, all the lining was ripped inside, so she repaired the lining and put me an extra pocket in where it was impossible to repair because it had just like gone and disintegrated. So yeah, she's very good. There's a few things now she's in the cellar. I'm gonna have to resist because there's loads of things that I'm thinking. Oh, maybe she could do that for me. Maybe she could do that.
You thought of something I could ask her to do.
Well, when I was in the Wardington Antique Centre yesterday, I ended up buying something and I wasn't going to spend any money. I bought 2 things. One was just a couple of quid, but there was a not that vintage, but a nice frock coat, an overcoat in black with a nice velvet collar, and because Jackie was there, and I went, "This is nice, isn't it?" She went, "Yes." I said, "It's not going to fit me, but we'll try it." And I slipped it on, and as I put it on, the 2 ladies at the counter just went, "Ooh, perfect fit," and I went, "I'm not buying it." And Jackie was like, "It does look good," and I was like, So I bought it. But
Sometimes it's
3 women again. She
and absolutely, I know.
If you go back for that, you wouldn't be there,
No, and it's got a lot of pockets, but it is nice it's not a tailcoat, but it's like an overcoat. But I've got a heavy wool coat for my tuxedo when I'm singing in the winter. But this is nice as the cooler nights and stuff. It's a bit lighter, so that's good.
But the antique place is near Wardington.
It's in Wardington. Yeah. So, if you're where would you be coming from to Wardington? I don't. Off through from the motorway
Yeah.
up. So if you go, the two ways to get there. The easiest way, I suppose, is as you're going up, you've got the turn into Williamscott on your left. Almost directly opposite that is a right turn that'll take you. You could go to Chatham, but you don't. You follow that little lane, and you follow the bend round as you're heading towards Upper Wardington. But before that, just on the bend on the right hand side, you've got Wardington Garden Centre. It's Barn Farm Plants.
Oh right, okay.
It's in the grounds of Barn Farm Plants.
It's in there, is it?
Yeah.
Oh right, okay.
So I had a really nice day. We had walk around the antique centre, and then we had went into the Barn Farm Plants cafe, had a bit of lunch and cake.
Deb's in there, isn't she? Deb the Doodle Dash.
Yes, in the antique place. Yes, she is. Yeah, she's got quite a big, big stand there. Yeah, miss Deb not being here. Sad. I'm gonna put the kettle on because it's 8 o'clock. Got an orange bit. Do you want a cup of tea or coffee? Coffee.
Do you want coffee?
You're gonna have coffee. Oh, are you two all right?
Okay, thanks.
Do you need a coffee today?
I managed to stay awake.
So you've been to Racing before?
No.
Oh, this is your very first one?
Yes, I've got no
okay. So what way did you see them advertised?
No, I wanted to do it for ages and ages because I run classes. Not went to some of Deb's at Doodle Dash.
Yeah,
I just like doing that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I love doing things like this.
Yeah.
And I did art at school, but I mean I left school when I was 16, so
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
Last time I really did
Yeah,
anything of any. So yeah, just fancy having a go, doing something
Yeah,
different.
that's good.
So we're thinking about it. I am going to start running my own class on a Monday night, so I'm probably not going to be able to come to me. Although
He's got this withdrawn for credits on Tuesdays as well.
once I start get going, I'll get other people in to run them as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It is nice.
I like doing my classes, but
It's nice
when
being-
it's your job, it's very different to just coming and relaxing and enjoying it.
It's nice being on the other side, isn't it? As well?
Rosemary, I think you're going to do a really good one today. I can feel it. While I'm waiting for the kettle to boil, that really bright streak, I'm just going to use neat cerulean blue down his back. If it's a bit vibrant, add a pinhead of the yellow ochre, which is the sandy colour.
That's just straight.
So that's neat cerulean, because it's quite electric, that colour.
It is, yeah.
So I'm going to try and put that in. I might add a slightly duller tint later on, but I want that electric to be there. And it's also in places on his chest and his head. But you could almost cover his head in that colour, because the other colour is going to be duller to create the marking. So we'll do him cerulean blue for now. See how we get on. As I say, I might dull this down later. It depends how it looks against the other tones. Janet, have you watched the new adaptation of Great Expectations yet?
No.
Nor me, and I'm getting very mixed reviews about it. It doesn't seem to be following the book at all.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's swearing in it,
Oh no.
like little pips effing and a jeffing all the time. And there's something weird going on between Pip's sister and Mr. Pumblechook that never went on in the book. It just seems a bit odd. I don't know if they're trying to make it scandalous,
You can't
to
really
appeal
think it is, can you?
appeal to the new. Yeah, well, I don't mind if they change characters a little bit. You know what I mean? If a different actor plays a different role or what have you. But I don't think you could really change just the spoken word. That shouldn't change, because then that's the whole basis of the story. I've forgotten her name. She plays Miss Havisham.
Nicole Kidman?
No.
Olivia.
Olivia Colman
Olivia
plays. Yeah, she's playing Miss Havisham, which is about the right age, because she's always portrayed Miss Havisham as an old lady, but she wouldn't have been that old. She'd have only been in her 40s, 50s. Do you both have milk in your coffee?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Mine doesn't look so bright.
No, it's sometimes when you add other colours next to it, it might stand out more, but mine's not. And I think it does look bright on the camera. Would you say, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
much brighter.
yeah. When
It looks really electric blue, doesn't it,
Yeah.
on the screen?
it does.
In fact, on the actual photograph, it looks green at the top there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So once his head dries, there's only that little bit of markings on his head of the blue, and the rest is that lovely teal colour, isn't it? You'll see as it dries. Biscuits.
Did you see Claire at all again? Claire McEwen who came, the teacher.
She came to one.
Oh right, okay, because she really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, she came to another one, but is she moving or something? She's or redecorating
Oh, yeah,
or something.
renovating.
Renovating.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she
yeah.
said she would only really like a biscuit or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm pleased she came back.
Yeah, she did.
I'm sure she'll come again. She really enjoyed
And
it.
I think Julie's down for next Tuesday night
Oh right.
for the Drawn to Acrylics.
It was next week.
Yeah. Because I finished Byfield last week.
I'll remind Wendy about them. She was quite keen to come to Acrylics. I just know I can't come to the first view, but I'll have a look at the calendar.
Yeah, because next week is drawing, and then the week after is acrylics.
There's one, I think it's your last one, you're doing birch trees. I love birch trees.
I like birch trees.
Is it birch trees and toadstools, I think?
That sounds very much like it could be me. You're very right. I didn't know that. Yeah, June the 20th and 20th, birch trees and toadstools. What a shock.
I'll tell
I
you
love
next year,
toadstools and I love birch trees.
I thought, it's not like Barry now to have some.
If I'm painting for myself, it'll either be toadstools, gnomes or birch trees. You gotta have hobby, haven't you?
A lady came into our shop and had a pop-up shop. She does sock patterns of toadstools all around the edges of the
Oh wow.
Amazing.
I love
Oh, wow.
toadstools.
With all natural yarns, the colour of the colour of the sheep. With these little red and then some red, so it's all like dark chocolatey brown socks. With little red toadstools all around the top.
Oh, amazing. I do love a toadstool.
I can't knit though. So.
Jackie tried to teach me. Jackie's good at knitting. And well, she's crochet, but I tried to do it.
I can't knit or crochet.
And I'm like this. My elbows are up here, and I'm so tense with it, and then it's so tight I can't even get the hook back in. And then she tried to teach me to knit, and I was rubbish at that because I was trying to knit and purl, and then I'd put it down and I'd forget which one was which, and then it'd just look lumpy. And I was adding stitches and taking down stitch. I just can't do it. It was stressing me out. I did not find it relaxing.
You have to remember everything as you go.
No, it was not relaxing at all.
I made today, I've never done anything like this because flowers are not my thing, but somebody in the village was running a workshop, and I made a spring wreath.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is really, really lovely.
I'm not.
Oh, that's
I'm
gorgeous.
Not a flower arranger
One of my other
at all.
students is a flower arranger who lives Boddington.
Oh right. But I thought I wanted to support her, and she's starting up a little business. Ex-teacher, she always wanted to be a florist. So she's retired and working in a florist shop, doing a course, and run these workshops for people. So I'll give it a go. The thing, it won't survive with me. That's the problem. They definitely live long plants. I've not got the green magic touch.
It's tricky, I think. I've got some plants that I've got some pot plants that are like 14, 15 years old. They're nearly 17 years old.
Oh, that's very good, Barry.
Yeah, they are like my children. But others I can kill very easily. And I think I tend to overwater more than anything. Alexa tells me at 11 o'clock every Sunday that I've got to water the plants.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I always think I must get into a routine. I'm rubbish at any sort of routine.
Just say to your Alexa, set me an alarm to tell me to water the plants at 11 o'clock every Sunday or whatever.
Yeah, the time you're normally in.
That's really good, isn't it? I never think of using it.
Oh, Jackie told her. Jackie just walked past and she just said, Alexa, remind to water the plants. And I don't know why she told me that, why she told Alexa that, but I'm glad that she did. I don't know what else she's told her.
Yeah. Play rock and roll at 3 o'clock.
I do like my Alexa. My sister bought it me so it's a video one, so we could keep in touch during lockdown. And I was like, I don't want anything modern in my house. I don't want her listening in. Now I walk in and I'll go, good morning, Alexa, and she'll say, good morning. Traffic on your way to work is quite busy. It was take you 12 minutes to get in this morning. And here's your news.
See, you don't need people.
I don't need people. I've got Alexa.
Why would you need people? And she's always nice, polite.
She is.
She
But you know what? I do always say please and thank you.
It's funny, my son tried to get her to, one of his funny jokes where he says, say this, say that, oh, you want to do whatever.
Yeah.
It's a funny little joke thing that sort of 8-year-olds say to each other. And he tried to get Alexa to do it, and she just turned around and she went, I am not going to be tricked by that. It was absolutely gone.
She can be quite feisty.
Yeah.
I often just go, Alexa, where's the nearest art shop, please? Because I like to know if I'm doing my homework, if I've got it all set up to... And if she says hobbycraft, I go, stop, Alexa, stop. Would you like directions? No, I wouldn't like directions. Right. I did hear today that the range is slowing down their art supplies. They're getting rid of a lot of them.
That's good then.
The range in what was Matalan. But they're really good for frames. I've only been in there once. In Kidderminster, they were near to where I grew up. They've got a range that's like an aircraft hangar. It's absolutely huge. And if that had come to Banbury, I think I would have been worried because it's got every brand of art supplies going. But this one, because it's small, didn't have much. But I don't think it would have sold much. And it, maybe it was end-of-line stuff. I'm not sure. Right, so I'm going to do the teal colour on him with cerulean blue. I'm going to stick with my little brush, because the second half of this lesson, as you know, just flies now.
Yeah, he speeds up, just to let you know.
I'm adding yellow ochre.
What happens? He goes, oh my god,
Yeah, I'm like a whippet now.
What colour went with the blue?
Yellow ochre.
That's the yellow.
The orange, the sand or mustard colour. The one near to the brown. And you should get a lovely Kingfisher green.
So do we need more blue than
Have you gone too...
to
Oh, do you know what? I don't... A little bit more. If you just shove all of that together, that's the technical term.
yeah, shove it
Just
together
shove
and
it
hope
all
for the best.
together. That's it. Maybe a little bit more blue. A bit more blue.
You know what, I'm gonna have to look for him for blue.
Do you notice I haven't given you any
I
white?
know, I did notice that.
It's no white.
It doesn't give me white, if you can help it.
Amanda eats the white. We had to get a
It's
dumper
like-
truck of it last
yeah,
time.
it's like being Oliver Twist. You know, you have to ask for some more. Barry, please can I have some more? He's like, more?
You know, we had a secondary school art teacher in the shop the other week who was thinking of retiring. Well, packing that in and you know, doing so. I said, don't be mistaken in thinking teaching adults is any different to teaching children, because it's not. And she went, oh really? I went, no. I said, they still like gold stars and they still throw tantrums.
Some are very needy.
Some are very, very needy. And I said, you don't get the pension, you don't get the holidays. So it's a payoff. And I think she'd got young children, and I said, oh, stick with what you're doing for now.
Yeah, it just fits in with family life.
Yeah. See, I ain't got any of that, so it don't really bother me, but I think it would be hard if that's what you're used to and you've got fairly young kids to give that up for adult education. Because I said also, you know, like when I used to teach and do art history lectures for the WEA, you're only paid contact time. You're not paid for all the lesson preps and preparation. And an art history, a 2-hour art history lecture could take me 5 hours to plan and write. But I'm only paid for the 2 hours that I'm actually in front of the students. And you've got report writing and no, you have to do report writing, individual learning plans. It's basically the same as mainstream education, but without the camaraderie or anything, because you're just totally isolated. So I'm just filling his wings in this colour for now.
Are you going quite weak at the moment?
Yeah, fairly weak.
Otherwise you won't be able to go in with the dark.
No, I am going to use this colour though to create sort of feathery bits, because that lighter blue does show up as little blobs on here. And on his head. That'd be nice having Lou downstairs. She used to go to my calligraphy classes with her nan. Pre-pandemic. Well, when I suspected the previous cellar dweller wasn't going to last, I gave her a heads up. And I said, oh, if you're after space, that may be available.
What have you done now? Are you doing daffles?
Yeah. I don't want to obliterate all of this cerulean, but I need enough to remain for the markings. And it'll all change once you add the darks in. The darks are really crucial. It was really sad news about Paul O'Grady last week.
Really sad.
What was it? Because have it not said, I think.
I don't think so, but I'm imagining it was his heart. Yeah, because he was off work for a
smoker as well, wasn't
yeah,
he,
and he was off ill for quite some time with heart problems a few years ago, I think. Yeah, because he was really fine the day before, but he was a really heavy smoker, I think. But it was very normal. Do you know, I don't go looking, but when you see all of these tributes, I've not heard a single person say anything bad.
No, just say kind.
How kind he was. You know, even some celebrities have said, you know, he just treats everybody, whether they're from the audience or whether they're a big film star, all with the same respect. So it doesn't really matter to him. Once you're on his show, you're looked after regardless, which is quite nice. So yeah, it was a shame. I used to find Lily Savage hilarious.
Yeah. That Liverpudlian's our sense of humour, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, his best mates with Scylla, wasn't he, as well? I will do some darker tones in this in a second when it's dry. Have I been wearing my glasses at all tonight? Because they feel quite cold. I don't think I've had them on. That's why I can't see very well. I laughed them off on Friday. I couldn't find them. I laughed that much. They fell off. When I was talking about Diane's buns.
Whose buns?
Diane. I posted a video on the shop page yesterday or Saturday about it. On Friday afternoon we were doing a portrait of David Jason, and then I came back from the
I saw that. That looked
coffee break,
that looked fabulous.
and Diane she got lemon drizzle buns, and I just said, "Oh Diane, you don't know what you do to us with your buns," and then I just started laughing hysterically for 10 minutes, so I couldn't teach or anything. I apologise to Diane. You'll get more definition then, Rosemary, when we add the darker tone to this. So all is not lost. So you can't shove a bush in front of him just yet. Just yet. Want to bet? Rosemary, don't be naughty. I can put a bush anywhere. I'm sure you can. But we're not going to, are we? We're going to paint a kingfisher. A weeping willow would look good if you wanted to cover him up. But we found on Thursday just how hard weeping willows were. We did Monet's garden.
Oh dear, that was Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday afternoon, and it was really tricky because it's all weeping willows in front of the either side of the bush, so you have to put your light colours in first and then paint the darks through.
I might buy that online.
Yeah, I'll be
That-
doing it on a
I've
Friday
wanted to-
soon. In about have I got it?
We're doing is it at the bridge?
Yes, this is what we did.
That's the one I knew.
But it was so hard because obviously the only way you could do it, we cheated with the irises and used wax crayon, but yeah, it was really hard. It was just a wall of green.
That's lovely. That.
So it was all that lighter green,
Yeah.
all over, and then we just added darker tones of green and like
that on
cut
Thursday?
inside. That was a Thursday after. That was last Thursday afternoon. Yeah,
So
it's on Art Club now.
oh,
It's on our Art Stream purchase thing, but I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
always send you the link.
yeah. I might
It was hard.
because yeah.
And I'd got two newbies to watercolour doing it, and it was like, oh.
Pick the right one.
But you see, because it's
Yours still out, yeah?
because it's all step by step, it doesn't really matter. It's all step by step, so everything is new. So I'm going to darken this green just by adding a tiny bit of the grey at the end, or the black. It looks black, but because it's got blue in it, it should give me,
Darken the teal
yeah,
with
with a bit of Payne's grey or black, whichever you got at the end of your. It looks black, but it's grey. It's almost black Payne's grey. Well, it is. I mean, how they make it is Mars black and ultramarine.
oh, is it?
Yeah, and that's why it's so varied. I even in Winsor and Newton, their artist's quality Payne's grey is basically indigo, and I hate it. I much prefer Cotman, their student version. Their Payne's grey is much nicer. Or if you haven't got Payne's grey, you can make a similar version from ultramarine and burnt sienna. So yeah, I only got time to make one painting, especially for the exhibition downstairs, because of doing it a month earlier than planned, which has got silver birches and toadstools in it, Amanda.
Where's that one?
It's downstairs. I can bring it up in a bit so you can have a look. It's a nice big
Those
A2
pastels are
one.
Fabulous. That's a pastel class. Isn't it?
Yeah.
They look so solid.
Do you know, everybody in that class did a stunning job. And Jackie,
I must come to your pastel one. I really.
Thursday mornings, yeah. Jackie did it amazingly, and she was having to serve as well. So she was in and out all the time. Yeah, the pastels class is quite popular. I never wanted to do a pastels class because I get in such a mess with them, but we've been doing it for a year and a half now.
I did a class with you quite a long time ago now, but it was a candle on black paper.
Oh yeah.
And really loved that.
I think there's certain things with the pastels.
I think I'd like to jump at,
No,
it wasn't.
there's certain elements of them that work really well. It's the same as with oils. I've got an oil class Friday night, and I've got a new person on that.
So what is it you do Friday?
I think it's a sunset with some posts with some seagulls sitting on it in silhouette.
That's interesting.
So it should be okay. Can you believe we only got half an hour left? If I I dilute a little bit of this, I can do a little bit of tone. But we'll do the post quite wet in wet. And it's okay if we go over a little bit. Forgot to define his tail. That green. You'll never look at a kingfisher in the same way again, will you? Or ever again.
I didn't quite realise how much the orange was there.
No, there's little flashes here and there, isn't there? Are you right for paint?
Strangely enough, at the moment, yeah.
Excellent. I squeezed you enough, I think. I reckon. I was trying to work out how much you'd all need.
So what have you defined the blue tail?
I've added some of that teal colour with a bit of water again. That green colour just diluted a little bit.
Just to give a little
Yeah, I don't know if I wanted, when we do the Payne's Grey, I might go with a bit of Payne's Grey as well, but I won't know until the rest of his face is on. And while that's drying, I'm going to do a very runny Payne's Grey on his beak, ready for the highlights, because we're going to go darker than this. But if I do it lighter first, thin brush. I will move out of the thin brush at some point, I promise, but that's going to dry, and then we can do that in really, really dark.
That's just light grey.
Yeah, that's Payne's Grey with a lot of water. And the white of the paper will do it. The mossy log, when we do that, the post, is, I'm going to do that quite wet in wet and free. Rosemary's probably working on a big weeping willow branch at this moment, covering the little bird. Well, that's right, I'll nip and get that.
Have you been watching the David Attenborough?
No, I haven't. I think it'll upset me too much. It's about how we ruin everything.
It's Sunday evening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Meaning to watch it, not actually started down to it yet.
It's very good. Incredible how
Yes, that's the bit I generally do manage
Yeah.
to watch, is when they're just doing a
Yeah.
recap right at the end of.
they speaking like shape.
time.
Oh wow, that's fabulous. Look at that. That's very good.
So I've got some fireflies, and I've got a little snail, and a woodlouse, because I like woodlouse. I had a pet woodlouse when I was little, and a ladybird, and obviously toadstools.
That's brilliant.
It's all gouache.
Oh, gouache, is it? I love the texture you've got on your trees.
Yeah, I did it with a knife.
Did you?
Yeah, I've never used a knife with gouache, but I didn't want to mix media, I wanted to keep it all the same. Yeah,
Brilliant.
thanks.
Really good.
If that doesn't sell, I'll be really happy to have that in my house, because the other one did sell.
Yeah, the one that you did, yeah.
The other wooden one.
Didn't somebody come in and buy like 5, 6,
Eight.
8
Wow.
from you?
Yeah,
He's got a few more like that.
absolutely.
Where's this big, nice big triangle?
Somebody's got a collection of my work. We call it a ballery. They have a ballery. There's a few people now that have got quite a lot of my work, and one of them isn't me, which is good. Right, I'm going to use neat Payne's grey, so hardly any water with it, so I can do his eye. I'll leave a little blob for it, and his beak. I'll outline it first, I think. Is the Kingfisher, it's related to the kookaburra, isn't it? I think.
Oh, is it?
I
No,
think
it makes
so.
sense, I guess. It's got a similar.
They've got a look, haven't they? I'm sure we looked it up in a class before now.
That makes sense, doesn't it? With the colours and
But it's the shape of the head as well, isn't it? And the beak.
what I've done with my beak. My beak's not the right shape I thought. I had to get
I've
it
got a
back.
lot of black in the wrong thing.
It's not got a curve to it, that's what it is.
It is quite spear-like, isn't it? It should be spear-like, if possible. But there's hardly any definition. It's hard to see his eye. It's hard to see anything because it is all so dark. So if I said I might use a bit of Payne's grey for his two tail feathers that are visible. Right, if I zoom out, oh, it kind of looks like a kingfisher, yes. Okay, I don't hate that. It's starting to get a bit chillier now. Check the weather. It looked like there was a frost on my car when I got up this morning.
It was cold this morning.
Oh, it's going to drop to -1 again tonight. Yeah.
It was very lovely morning, but quite
It was only 5 degrees. The sun. It was
cold.
sitting in my car driving around. It was nice and warm with the sun on it, but out of the sun, it wasn't good. Next Tuesday is going to get to 15 degrees. That's good. It's almost tropical for a ginger like me, that. BDI is good. Any eye is also good.
Lose the shape, don't you, slightly?
Just slightly. And the trouble is, because it's watercolour, if you put in the dark in, you can't really
Get it back out.
get rid of it. It's a lot. Well, it's a lot trickier too. It's not totally impossible, but it's not easy. I'm flagging now.
The problem I've got is, because his beak wasn't the right shape, I've just...
Have you just made it longer?
Made it longer and longer.
I did that.
He's got the longest,
He'd walk around with a broken neck
It's
because
gonna
it's
fall
just
over,
keep falling over.
He's definitely going to hit that water with that beak.
Well, the bonus is he wouldn't have to go into the water much. He could just nod his head and spear a
just
fish.
Pick up that fish.
Do you know what? I'm looking, and I need to cut in more with that darker teal colour on his back, because that's better. That's better. One line doesn't really make a huge difference. So we're going to do the post all wet in wet. I think to start with.
That's not that round. Look at that beak.
That's all right. You know what? It's not much longer. It's not much longer. That's lovely.
That's lovely colours.
You did really well. I didn't mean to sound surprised then.
It doesn't quite look right, so there's something definitely not
when
right.
when you see it from a distance then, because don't forget you're only looking at it
It's
from
so
a foot
close.
away.
It's huge.
It is white, isn't it? It's being mindful that you need to
Yeah, I mean you can
some space.
use a bit of gouache, a bit of white gouache. Notice I said a bit of white gouache, Amanda. A bit. If you wanted to correct any elements on his feathers or anything.
I can't get rid of his beak thing, can I?
No, you can't. And do you know, if it was a more varied background, it wouldn't be a problem. But
it's so light, isn't it?
yeah, that is the problem. See, I might add a bit of white to some cerulean while I'm waiting for it to dry. Try and get that sort of electric turquoise, but I bet I won't be able to. It's more of a cobalt turquoise, that brighter. But it's very easy to fiddle and then just ruin what you do have. The post, I'm going to actually mix burnt sienna, so that's your brown, with a lot of water. I'm using my big brush for this. Burnt sienna and a little bit of the cerulean blue. So I don't want it to go green, but what it will do by adding a bit of the blue, it will create a really good old wood colour. So you're stopping the adding of the cerulean before it goes green. And then I'm going to do a very, you can see where I've lent on it, look where my sticky fingers are.
Which brush was that? Sorry,
That's your massive one, yeah. Wet it and then go into your brown and then add a bit of the cerulean blue.
stop doing anything. Right, so what we do? Wet, big brush.
Yeah, wet your big brush and then mix your burnt sienna with a bit of the blue. Bit of blue.
Is that it? Don't see that bit of blue.
Yeah, and then some water.
And he's just doing the whole lot first.
Yeah. You see, if I go darker with colours while this is wet, it creates a really interesting mix. So if I mix some Payne's grey and burnt sienna together while it's all wet, it might create the crumbly old bit of wood. Let it all sort of merge together and go all feathery. It's drying quite quickly. So I've added burnt sienna and Payne's grey together to try and get some depth to start with, and then I'll be a bit more careful with it as it starts to dry. But I'm kind of just faffing around in the wetness at the minute. I know we've got our lovely new awning outside and we haven't been able to put it up because it's been raining every day.
Yeah,
It's too windy as well for the awning. We don't want it out. Don't want any damage coming to that. I'll have to widen my log. I've just slipped with my brush. Right, I'm going to let that dry. And then I can put more darker blacks in there. So there's no class next week. And
You doing something nice on your bank holiday?
no, I'll just be sitting. Or I might be doing a bookkeeping course. Gosh, I'm filled with dread for that because I've been avoiding doing it. I mean, that's why I paid somebody to do it.
Isn't it? That's the thing. You know, you're not a.
No, I'm not a numbers
That's
person.
something, yeah.
I'm really not. Oh, and then we come back on the 17th with a watercolour pencil scene of a tree on Llanberis Lake. That'd be nice. And then a portrait in pen and wash. We did drawing this morning at Wardington, and it's a gorgeous church in Herefordshire that I used to drive past when I used to date my ex-wife when we were dating, and it's a very Italian looking church in the middle of a tiny village. It's a huge ornate Italian church called St Catherine's. It's absolutely stunning, and I used to see it as I was driving home. And it's the first time I'd ever painted it. It was just, well, we did it in pencil, but never ever bothered drawing it before. So I'm going in, keep going in dark. It's still quite wet, but you know what? That helps make it feel all manky. So this is Payne's Grey and brown. So you can see while it's wet, it's just spreading a little bit. Some of it's already dried actually, which isn't so bad. You all alright for paint? We'll add some moss on as well later on. There's not much later on left, I know, but you'll all sleep well tonight. See, I might get the hairdryer on this in a second, just so I can do some nice dark lines. Because it'll keep drying lighter, and I want a nice defined line in that hollow. That's going to be okay. Yeah, drying that's just helped me get a few finer lines with the thin brush and the Payne's Grey and the burnt sienna. The watercolours is one of the hardest mediums to get your head round because of having to work from light to dark. Whereas something like acrylics, you could just stick any colour on top of anything, so it's a little bit easier to try and navigate. Because you don't actually want it to detract from the bird, do you? Which is the thing that you want to try to avoid if you can. I might have to use a bit of white gouache with my original colour to try and do a few highlights. So I'm just adding some of the white to a little bit of that original colour, which was the burnt sienna and cerulean, just to give me a few little highlights, because I'd got that carried away, I'd lost them, and I hadn't got much definition in my log or post. But it's all fiddly stuff, and you don't have to do fiddly stuff if you don't want to. I think once I've added a bit of moss, there's not much more I can do. Probably about 9:15 when we're done, which is fine. Rosemary, I'm intrigued. How's it going? And Daniel, I'm guessing you've probably caught up because you like a whippet. It's one of these that, I mean, I know it doesn't look easy, but it's what makes it difficult is that there's nowhere to hide with it, because we're not shoving things in front or behind, or you know, what you see is what there is, which sometimes is a tricky thing to do. I'm going to try a bit of moss. Now I think if I add the yellowy yellow, the cadmium yellow, with a tiny bit of cerulean, because it is quite a yellow moss. Now I might cheat and add some a bit of white gouache to that, maybe. I don't know. If I put it in a blobby way, so it's not mushy pea green, it's more yellow than mushy peas. So I'm going to do one coat as is, and then I might add a few highlights. But it is a fine balance between the yellow and the blue, because you need the blue to offset the yellow, but too much and it'll just go bright green.
So that was the mustard and the yellow.
The cadmium yellow, the bright yellow, and a tiny bit of the blue. Just a tiny bit. So it's quite a yellow green.
For the muscle. Let it come out with it.
Well, this is all stuff you could add at a time that you were happier
Yeah, I think
doing it. You don't have to try and shove it all on now. It'll be a skill builder on Wednesday, won't it, Janice? Janet? It is, yeah. I'm glad you remembered. I know I.
Only because I looked it up today.
I said to Robert this morning what it was, but I'd actually forgotten myself. Yeah, you'll need a bit of graphite powder this week.
I think Julie enjoyed the squirrel that you did.
She did really well, you know.
Yeah.
And she's come to the art history as well,
And
with her
they
mum.
did the portrait, didn't they, as well?
Yeah,
Wasn't the Judy Dench?
it was the Judy
was it?
Dench one, yeah.
Mum's lovely, isn't she?
Oh, Marriott, yeah, absolutely lovely.
Mm.
I'm very lucky to have lots of nice students. It's a shame none of them could make it tonight, but...
I was going to say, they're not here.
Yeah. They're waiting for the extra.
No, everybody's so nice and they all understand. They can understand my humour, which is important. I could tell Janine had got a good sense of humour, so that's... You could spend ages on this post, couldn't you? I don't want to, though, because... I've got Hollyoaks to watch when I get there.
Meaning to tell you, we watched that Miles Vermeer that you told us about.
Oh,
All that
wasn't that really interesting?
It was interesting.
And it was based on a true story.
It was, yeah. It was good.
The trouble with me, when I'm watching films that are like based on a true story, I spend most of my time Googling what's going on and how true it is, and I miss the actual...
Wondering which bits of a false bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. What's embellished? And then you look at an actor and you think, oh, I don't know, what were they in? And then
What were they in?
then
That's
you
right.
start Googling that.
And I'm terrible for that. Martin saying, I'm in the drama. Stop it. You know.
Right, I'm not really doing all.
I'm never going to finish like you're finishing dinosaurs. Yes.
I'm stopping. That book's really interesting, isn't it?
You want to borrow it?
I've had a really good
Haven't
look
you?
through this again in between.
Did you know
times.
anybody in it?
I didn't. Oh,
Because he's
yes,
done one
some
as
Miles.
well on
He thinks
Grimsbury as well.
Oh, and
Oh, that's
so much
Brian
work,
Nicol
so
one,
much
that
work.
one.
What
So what I mean, he goes
dates
basically
is
at the end
that?
of
Because
something like that.
my grandpa's brother lived over in Grimsbury.
Showing about the beach.
It's
so
funny,
it's
it's
the
the
smallest
smallest
little
little
detail that
people
makes it
I
nice and
recognise in
accurate,
there,
quite.
but
Yeah, that's really good.
Looks like books of the 60s, sort of.
there's just something that's not right with it. Yeah, there's we've got
I think my boot is
Fascinating. Now somebody's given me all of these books.
So
that
are
they've-
they, is it?
yeah, you do
Clearance.
one little thing on her.
oh shit.
So if you want to carefully take your tape off, I'll put it on the screen so you can see what it looks like.
He's not finished.
That's really good, Janine.
They're lovely colours, isn't
That's
it?
really, really good.
Mm.
I might have to not let you come again. That's too good for your first go. That's really nice.
It's because it's look like that.
You can pretend it's your skill.
It's all downhill from here. Actually, I am very pleased with that.
Have you enjoyed it?
I have. I
Oh,
really
that's lovely
enjoyed
though,
it.
isn't
It's
it?
quite relaxing in a way, isn't it? Even
Well,
at
you've
the
got
end.
the
See yours
beak, the
first.
beak's right.
Yeah,
The beak
it is,
went,
isn't it?
yeah, the beak's
Right, so
important.
this is
Yeah,
Janine's
it's
first
like that.
ever class, never done it before.
Oh,
brilliant.
wow, look at
Yeah,
that.
that's amazing.
Fabulous. Look at the tree.
Doesn't that look good on the telly?
That's brilliant. I love the colours, love the flash of blue.
Oh, Rosemary was happy with her post until she added the moss. The Just Adder was trying to appear. She's going to have a look tomorrow. No, I think that's really lovely. I think you've done really well.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely colours.
Really, really well.
This is mine.
Amanda.
Tiny beak.
No, it's fine.
I've still got all mine.
I love your background.
Yeah.
That works.
Apart from the beach.
Well, it's only a little bit longer.
Do you know? Yeah.
You see, if you'd got time with white gouache and the cerulean and the cad red, you could probably try to mask out
Yeah.
with the
Make it big,
background.
yeah.
So I see yours, Janet.
You're trying to get the shape right, you just go a little bit longer, a little bit longer.
Got one of it, look at mine.
Bill will work on his all
Oh,
week,
that's
won't he?
lovely.
And then you'll come back after the bank holiday with a
Oh, it will be
masterpiece.
yeah.
That's-
Start again.
That's
You
lovely.
did that, Bill, with the leopard, didn't you? It was beautiful, your leopard.
That's really nice, Janet.
Me and didn't I?
Did you quite like that? Actually, it was
It's
nice.
nice. It's almost, it's almost not visible, isn't it? The only colour that I'd be tempted to introduce, and it's only available in artist quality, is cobalt turquoise, because it is really vibrant. But yeah, I haven't got it. Oh, Rosemary said, "Blimmin' heck, that's good." To yours. So there we are. I will photograph this and pop it in the group, but I hope you've enjoyed it tonight. It's been an interesting one. It's a different subject really to what we normally have. In that there's actually nothing going on in the background. It is just Kingfisher on a post. That was good. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a really good week. Rosemary, I'll see you on tomorrow, won't I, for acrylics? What are we doing? We'll know tomorrow. Take care. Have a good evening. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.